Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone?
So far, so good.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. So far, so good.
All right.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. Hello, friends old and new. Hey, Toby.
How's it going? Good to see you.
I see you.
So you already know each other. Okay.
Yeah, Curtis and Irene, I was wondering if it is okay that Michael goes not at the end of the agenda, but right after Kwame, because he needs to leave before 11. Can we accommodate?
Say that again.
So Michael, on the agenda, he's listed last, but he needs to leave by 11. So I wonder if we could move it up to...
We're finished by 11, I hope. Because it depends on when Sawdayah gets on. So if it can be like at 10:30 and you can leave before 11 because we should be finished by 11.
Well, I think it goes till 11:30.
Yeah,
Oh,
typically
11:30. But I think Sawdayah was going to do an introduction. So I can email her and see when she gets on.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
D'Amica.
Hi, D'Amica.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Morning.
Yeah.
Morning. Morning.
How are you, Michael?
Hello.
Hello. How's everything?
Yeah. My name is Stephen. I'm affiliated with John the Baptist. Kind of new at this, and I'm a little frustrated, but I'm persevering.
We've all been there.
I just wanted to state that the last monthly meeting, I tuned in, but I wasn't successful in being audio, so you might have seen my number, but I didn't respond. So I'm hoping this time it'll be a little bit more effective.
Sorry to bother you, Sawdayah.
How's it working?
Thank you for doing that, for the effort.
We hear you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll continue making the efforts, but I just hope that there be some type of I don't know what to say, accommodating or sympathy for my inability to be effective.
Yeah.
Oh, no
Everybody's
worries.
had Zoom frustration. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we understand completely. So thank you for being here.
All right. Is this Kwame that I'm speaking with?
So far, it's been Curtis and Alonso.
Oh, Curtis from Rogers, Tilden, Veronica Garden, correct?
Yep.
All right. And I guess Kwame's there also.
Not yet, I think, but he will be here.
And the Professor Michael Menser.
He is here.
He? Good morning, Professor. Good morning to all. Okay, and Mika Roberts is there also, I gather.
That's me.
Hello, Stephen. I'm pretty sure you might remember me. And is Alonso also present?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, well, great. I'm trying to get a visual, but it's a little challenging.
No problem.
I guess we're right now just in a waiting mode until all the parties come. You're giving them a window of maybe 10 or 15 minutes?
Yeah, I think that probably in about, I would say no more than 5 minutes. I don't know what Curtis and Irene think about that, but yeah, we should begin very, very soon.
You can start now. You can start now.
Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I think we have enough people. So thank you everyone for coming to the garden operations meeting of BQLT. We should begin with, we traditionally begin with introductions, something quick. My name is Alonso Cordova. I am a member or a volunteer at Kew Gardens. And so quick thing to just, as an icebreaker, something that you are looking forward once we can go into the gardens in the spring. I know that it's in the pandemic. In my case, is being able to begin growing something again and meeting with people without being super bundled. And I'm gonna pass it to Irene.
Oh my goodness. What I'm looking forward to, I guess looking forward for the snow to melt. And I'm with the David Fulke Garden on Bergen Street. And I'll pass it on to Domika.
I am a member of all gardens, BQLT, and I'm BQLT staff. My name is Domika. Didn't start with that. I'm looking forward to warmer weather, to potentially half join David Fulke if it specifically for growing flowers.
Nice.
I'll pass to Ashley.
Good morning, and my name is Ashley Cruz. I'm involved with Macintosh Garden. I've been there for, I don't know, maybe 6 years, and I am really looking forward to the bulbs that BQLT provided and seeing those come up in our garden this spring, because I need a lot of happiness and brightness. Pass it on to Stephen Thompson.
Hi, I'm a board member at 1100 block Bergen Street Community Garden. I'm looking forward to the bulbs coming up that we planted back in October. Seeing those tulips and hyacinths. I'll pass it to Iris.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Iris, and I'm from the Central Bainbridge Street Community Garden. And I am looking forward to sowing some seeds in our small but efficiently successful, I hope, hothouse, and see what we can get out of it. I will pass it on to Damon.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Damon from Lincoln Berkeley Garden. I'm looking forward to us doing our herb garden this year. We're already planting seeds up for herbs, and we're going to have a much more impressive herb garden in our garden. So that will be fun. I'll pass it on to Christina Knight, who's also from Lincoln Berkeley.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Yep, from Lincoln and Park Slope. And I'm looking forward to seeing other members and meeting people, and who comes to this garden, so I'm looking forward to seeing people in the garden again, and I do enjoy getting out before my work day and watering. And I do miss doing something before going straight to a computer. So it'll be good to get out in the fresh air. And I'm going to pass this on to Stephen Simpson.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm gonna try to be brief. I just want all those that are there to know that with the garden that I'm with, we're in a transitional state because of the pandemic odyssey, and I'm just trying to stay in the loop so we can be functional and just try to learn as much as I can through all the members who are at the top of their game. And like I said, I'm looking for resources and knowledge to revive the garden where I'm at, because we're like a cornerstone in the neighborhood, but it seems as though there's a lot of decadence going on, and we want to just try to survive. And I'll pass it on to whoever the next person is.
Let's go with Toby.
Hi, my name is Toby. I live in Glendale, Queens, and I'm really looking forward to the weather turning and putting bees in the beehives up on the roof of my house.
Hi, good morning. I'm Majella from Class in Fulton Gates, and I'm just looking forward to touching the soil.
Nice.
I'll go. Hi, I'm John Rauschenberger from Northside. Oh, it says Northside on my name. It's magic. Also looking forward to the bulbs coming up and getting out of the house.
Excellent.
Let's
Brittany?
see who's left. Yeah.
Brittany.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Brittany. I am with Kew Gardens formerly and currently. I was once the beekeeping coordinator at Kew Gardens, and I'm getting re-involved in the beekeeping program there. And I think I'll have an opportunity to talk more about it later, but I'm also a forester, an arborist. So I have some thoughts and opportunities about trees in your gardens. I'm really looking forward to seeing the buds on the trees swell. I have a very intense reaction when I see little baby oak leaves coming out of the buds in the spring.
Hazel Hurley, 1100 Block Bergen Street Community Garden, and also on the BQLT nominating committee. Pass it on to Sawdayah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sawdayah Brownlee, and I'm the board president right now. What was the check-in question? I just got in.
Something you are looking forward once that it gets warmer in the gardens. Well,
Well, to be quite honest, I'm just looking forward to getting back to gardening because I will not be president anymore. So I'm thoroughly looking forward to all things gardening. I hope I can get out there and start some seeds with some folks indoors. And yeah, looking forward to joining a garden again and doing much less paperwork. I don't know who hasn't gone.
we can go with Eric.
Oh, I was gonna, never mind. I can wait. This is Ijoma. I'll go after Eric.
Oh, go for it. And then we can go with Eric.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Ijoma Chano. You could also call me EJ. I'm part of the Rogers Southern Veronica Place Community Garden. And we also go by RTV. What I'm mostly looking forward to is just being able to be around people, speaking with new members and stuff like that, and the old members.
Good morning, EJ.
Morning, Curtis.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to, we have this big tree, and when it comes down, there's going to be so much light, and it's going to change everything about our TV. So it'll be magic when it comes down. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that and having more space to grow stuff. Michael, you want to join in?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike Menser, Brooklyn College, presenting today a little bit later. I'm looking forward to dirt, humans, bugs, dragonflies, any of it, all of it. Very excited.
Eric.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. I'm Eric from Hollenbach Garden. I'm looking forward to warmer weather, being outside with fellow garden members, and just getting out there and gardening.
Excellent. Ray.
Hi, I'm.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm Ray from People's Garden here in Bushwick, and I'm looking forward to playing some music again in the garden.
Nice.
Invite us.
Yes.
Yes, please. Kwame.
Hi, Kwame Ajapone, board member from Central Bainbridge Community Garden. I'm looking forward to just growing some new food this year.
Tara.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from RTV Garden, and yeah, I'm excited to have my hands back in the soil. I already started pruning some stuff at the garden, and then we got real cold, so it's a little bit early, but sitting here starting seeds right now, so I'm just excited to get back outside.
Excellent, thank you. Dana.
Hey everybody, I'm from Hollenbeck with Eric. I'm looking forward to just seeing people and being outdoors and growing a few things that I can preserve or can. So.
Awesome. Iris.
Oh.
Hi, I thought I said hello already.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Jackson
hasn't
been on yet.
Paul Jackson, some Serenity Garden. I'm looking forward to getting back to the garden. This will be our 5th year, going into our 5th year, and get back to make it an outstanding garden. And that's the goal, continue to make it a beautiful garden for the community. Okay.
Nice.
Thank you. April.
Oops. Hi, how's it going? I'm looking forward to the seed and seedling swaps this spring because, as usual, my husband and I are trying to plan our garden plot, but there are a few vacancies that could be filled in our plan. So looking forward to Kismet and Destiny helping us to fill those last remaining square feet. Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Thank you. Dorothy. Maybe we can go with Lola.
Iola.
Yola, sorry.
Iola, you might be muted.
Okay, I think that except for Iola and Dorothy, everybody already went there. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here again. And the first item on the agenda is a presentation by Ariane and Curtis on the responsibilities of the operations committee.
All right. Do you want to start, Tamika? Or
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I heard Irene and Curtis.
Sorry, you're right. It's Domika and Curtis. I misread for a second. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
We have to show, Domika, do you have the document that so we can look at it?
Oh, you want me to share? Okay.
Yeah, just that first part.
Sorry, give me a second.
I know.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
So the BQLT has been working on redefining, or I guess solidifying the definition of each committee and what their responsibilities are. And we had a retreat in 2018 where we also discussed what we thought the descriptions should look like. And so in our in-progress board manual, board and staff manual, I grabbed this excerpt of what the Garden Operations Committee description was for. And so we wanted to talk to the membership about what you feel like Operations Committee could also focus on after looking at what this description says. So we have that the Garden Operations Committee must include at least 3 BQLT board members plus garden representatives. And must be chaired by a gardener at a BQLT member garden. Key responsibilities include promoting community involvement and volunteering, acting as a resource for BQLT's gardens, infrastructure, and horticultural needs, including working with staff to source needed supplies, informing garden representatives of their responsibilities to remain in good standing, informing gardeners of BQLT's responsibilities to the gardens, and working with BQLT staff to document and resolve problems at BQLT gardens.
Maybe we should tell everybody who the leadership is right now.
So right now we have 2 co-chairs, 2 great co-chairs, Alonso and Curtis, who are both members of BQLT Gardens. And yeah.
We have garden representatives on there too.
Well, I guess we could go through the whole committee then. Irene is part of the committee. Magella from Classen is part of the committee. Kim from Euclid Pine is part of the committee. I'm talking to Matt from St. Mark's, and he is potentially a member of the committee. And Damon from Lincoln Berkeley is part of the committee.
So maybe if people can put in the chat if this description is adequate and if something needs to be added to it, or if you have questions about how it's working, that would be helpful to defining what the committee's responsibilities are.
So I see in the chat a question from Ashley. Is the chair a board member? Currently, the co-chairs are both board members, but I spoke to Irene about this before, and originally the chair for the committee was meant to be just a garden member. That doesn't have to be a board member. We're kind of rebuilding the committee this year, so it just so happened to start with Alonso and Curtis, but it is up to the committee if that is to change.
I thought there would be a lot of questions, but it seems like people are.
Everybody's happy. Yeah, great.
I see a question from Eric. How do garden representatives join the operations committee? The great thing about the operations committee is that it's open to all garden members from BQLT because it's a committee meant for the gardeners to discuss and troubleshoot things going in the garden, as well as work with other gardens within the network to do these things that are listed here. And so that builds relationships between the gardens and stuff. So yeah, anyone can join. And I guess it goes into Sawdayah's question, should gardeners contact Alonso and or Curtis to join the planning meetings? I believe so, or you can email the committee if you're interested in joining. And we have standing meetings on the last Saturday of each month, which is where we plan the operations meetings, talk about like all of the responsibilities that and current items at hand. So I could leave emails in the chat if people are interested. Always looking for more people from the gardens to be involved and contribute, so that this is it's very inclusive of, it encompasses ideas and interests of the BQLT gardens.
Also, everyone who joins is very welcome to enter the discussion of how to shape the committee so it evolves as we go and adapting to the needs of the gardeners and the communities. So it can be a changing body, definitely.
Yes, if you'd like to join, please do.
So since Professor Menser has to leave, Alonso, can we introduce Sawdayah?
Absolutely, yeah. So we are going to have a presentation by our amazing board president, Sawdayah Brownlee. And but I don't see the topic on the agenda, so I don't know exactly what she's going to talk about, but it's
I think great. Thank you, Alonso. I think I'm just really here to introduce the topic that Michael is going to present on, and just have it's more of an introduction for me.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So we're super excited to have Michael Menser, who's a professor at Brooklyn College, to talk to us about some of the classes that he's working with within ecology, and also the possibility of providing more capacity to gardens who are looking towards growing more food or growing more herbs for the benefit of the community. So we've had this conversation in the past just about which gardens would be interested in tapping into more food production and what that could look like. What are the needs? What are the barriers? This is really an important conversation for us to be thinking about as the city and the state moves towards more legislature that supports growers downstate as well as upstate. The beauty of being a member of the land trust that you all created, is that we collectively have the deed to the land, which means we get to decide what happens on this land. That is a privilege and a right that so many elders fought for, that many other gardeners throughout the city don't have. And so it's a really great opportunity for us to reflect on how best to use this land in service of our community, which is why our community gardens were created. And as this legislature and policy changes come down the pipeline, we also want to be clear about what do we need in terms of being able to tap into that. So for instance, many of you might know about the mayoral 10-year food policy. I think I have it pulled up on my computer, and I'll drop it in the chat so you can take a look at it at another time. But it covers everything from food production to distribution to where the food would be held and how it would be accessed by the greater community. And the board obviously would never dictate to gardens, this is what you need to do, or this is how you need to be using the land. But this is a really wonderful opportunity for us to consider just how we can maximize our space and really be in concert with our community. And let me just pull up this document. So that is really why we were so excited to have a conversation with Professor Menser to talk about just different pathways to supporting gardens and transitioning into that. And to that end, I'm just going to segue it over to Professor Menser.
Thank you, Sawdayah, and thanks for inviting me and having me here. And thanks for existing, like literally, thanks for existing. This is an amazing effort. Gardens are always multidimensional, but one of the things, and Sawdayah was just saying this, is that, you know, this of course is a food effort and all the multi-dimensions around that, but this is an economic democracy effort. And, you know, I had Toby in class for on economic democracy last fall. And, you know, democracy is not just about having a voice. Democracy is about sharing authority and sharing resources, sharing authority and sharing resources. And that's what a CLT does. And it does it imperfectly, just like everybody else does everything imperfectly. I'm a president of a nonprofit, you know, the Participatory Budgeting Project. We try to be participatory democratic internally. We do it imperfectly. It's a struggle. It's not easy. It's not a romantic, warm and fuzzy thing. It's hard to do. It has moments of joy. It has moments of pain. I just want to say at the beginning, so I'm really excited to talk. You know, I haven't really, you know, been in interconnection with the CLT as such, but CLTs have really come on the map over the last couple of years, as you know, with the legislation, with city council and so on. And it's a really amazing moment to interconnect on a lot of levels, and from nitty gritty stuff to big aspirational things as well. So I'm just going to go 9 minutes. I'm going to be under 10 minutes. And I'll maybe have a time for a little bit of questions and so on. Alonso, I think, right? And I'm going to share screen and get right into it. So, present. That looks okay?
Yeah.
So at Brooklyn College, I've been in Brooklyn College 25 years, been at CUNY for 30 years, first as a student, then a professor. I'm in the Urban Sustainability Studies program, which is a newish program we have at Brooklyn College, which directly connects to a lot of stuff here. We also have the Science and Resilience Institute, although it's not on the food side of the equation, it's on the green infrastructure side of the equation. And I know there's a lot of interest in interconnecting, you know, how we think about food production and resilience and green infrastructure. I'm also the co-founder, the president of the board of Participatory Budgeting Project. We may have, you know, we're supposed to have a citywide PB process next year. We were supposed to have it this year. We'd love to see a thematic one this year. We're making proposals. Maybe food could be a theme. Imagine if you had a food PB, right? So it's an amazing moment. And as Sawdayah was saying, the mayor just released the 10-year plan, the Food Forward NYC plan, which was mandated by the city council, by a bill passed by city council about 2 years ago. Eric Adams, you know, folks, I'm making no endorsements here, but I'll just note that Eric Adams released his new agrarian economy plan. And of course, he's someone who's been very interested in this space over many years. So it is a hot topic. It is a hot topic. It is a big moment. There are all different types of pieces moving right now. It's really incredible to be in conversation right now. You know, so I'm going to talk about what we're doing specifically at Brooklyn College, but also just Sawdayah was referring this a little bit. There's the Vital Brooklyn initiative, which really came out of community, which is trying to reorganize the health system in a very holistic way in Central Brooklyn.
You want to see your face?
Yeah. Do I? You talking to me?
I think.
Oh, I don't.
Keep going, keep going.
Okay.
Mistakes.
So, and so one way that we're thinking about food is that Brooklyn College got brought in as an anchor institution for this Vital Brooklyn initiative, which is with the hospitals and with new housing and so on. So thinking about food in the context of this larger transformation of the healthcare system is one way that we're connected to this. There's more specifically what's called, and there's so many different names, I apologize, but the Brooklyn Communities Collaborative. And that's what's really working with Bed-Stuy Restoration and the Brooklyn Movement Center and a lot of these other organizations in Central Brooklyn to really reorganize a food system that works for folks in those neighborhoods and also contributes to these goals of an equitable economic development as well as health and wellness. So specifically at Brooklyn College, we have the Health and Nutrition Science program that works in this space. We have urban sustainability studies. We have courses. I'm teaching a course right now on the food system, on health and nutrition justice, on racial justice. We have a course on aquaponics that we run intermittently now, but we have a greenhouse on campus. I'm gonna show you pictures. We have faculty research projects on restaurants, on nutrition, on diabetes, on public health. So there's lots of different ways we can plug in. It goes way beyond me. There's many, many folks working on these types. And then there's also individual student projects and also internships. And maybe internships is something in the first phase of having a relationship that we could work on in terms of placing students over the summer. We also have a greenhouse, great greenhouse with hydroponics, with aquaponics. We have a campus garden. We have other gardens, green infrastructure gardens. We're a green thumb composting site. We have 2 weather stations, one that actually monitors soil moisture. We're exploring a community Wi-Fi project. Having Wi-Fi in the gardens, I know, has been something that's been of interest. And hopefully we're going to be a site for the new participatory budgeting process where maybe the community can convene to talk about proposals in the garden space and in the food system space. So some of y'all know Pearl Eggendorf. I had to put Pearl here because she's legend. She's part of the Urban Soils Lab at Brooklyn College, graduate now, PhD. And here she is doing soil testing on campus. Dr. Joshua Chang is someone who's been doing urban soil testing in New York for many years now. And here's with students. Our soil is very clean on campus. We were really pleasantly surprised to realize that. And you may notice, good old Midwood High School here. So one of the gardens that I'm actually active with and supporting is a new school community garden that's right across the street on Bedford from Midwood High School. Here you see high school students with college students with some alum who are working together to set up this new garden, which just opened. It was initially funded with participatory budgeting money, and then it got some Vital Brooklyn money to become this really multi-dimensional space. So we help build the raised beds. We have to bring in the soil, mix in the compost, plant all kinds of things from sunflowers to tomatoes to green beans. And if you can see in the background there, there's also a track. There's also a basketball court. It's this really amazing multi-dimensional space that was constructed with student input and overseen by the Trust for Public Land. And it's a school community garden, by the way. So it's PS 152, 315, but then also a community garden, so that's open the whole year. So last slide. We're really trying to coordinate now, right? How do you interlink these projects? So very nitty gritty, we're supporting the school community garden. We help them weed. We help them bring in the dragonflies, right? We help do the soil testing. But we also want to have a lot more opportunities for teaching and research in the gardens. CO2, how much CO2 is being absorbed in gardens? This is something come up with climate change research. And we have a community roots program that runs in the summer that helps teach the high school students the science in the gardens context. We also want to talk about this, how do gardens fit into these big city plans with stormwater management, with carbon absorption, with biodiversity promotion, with urban soil management. And then we want to do it with racial justice, economic democracy frameworks. Every time, everywhere, every time. It's not a separate thing. Every one of them's got to have that. Every one of them's got to have that. So let's stop right there. And thanks for letting me talk about Brooklyn College a little.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you very much. We're very much looking forward to collaborating with you, and you have amazing ideas. So thank you for allowing us to be part of that.
Can we ask a question? You mentioned that you have an internship program. Can you talk about that?
Yes, so we have internships available on campus that are funded by Brooklyn College by a program that we have at Brooklyn College. There's 2 different funds, the Magner Center and this Leibowitz Fund. And so we can place already paid by us interns in community organizations, nonprofits, and so on in the summer time. So basically from June 1st to August 20th or so. Usually we place students for half the time, not the whole summer, because there's like 2 semesters. So, but it could be, it's open in terms of the length. It could be on the 4-week side, or it could be on the 8 to 10 to 12-week side. And during the rest of the year, like during the fall and the winter and the spring, we have internships that students can do for credit, where they receive 3 credits from doing it. It could be, online research, communications, hands-on stuff as well, depending on the student. But we place students, doing hands-on stuff. We place students doing research. We place students doing communications and social media help. A lot of organizations, enjoy help from that. And we have a range of students that we try to place. And it's interesting, geographically right now, obviously with COVID, there's a lot of different barriers and hindrances. But we have a lot of, the CLT, it doesn't exactly map where most of our students are come from, but we have students from most of these areas, just kind of looking the geographic space that you're in terms of Brooklyn and Queens. We have a lot more students from South Brooklyn as well, but we have students around Jamaica and, we work with Eastern Queens. So we also try to place students or connect students vis-a-vis their neighborhood.
Yes, I have a question. I wanted to know, and I've been enlightened about what you're saying with the internship to the community. But what about if community members of the garden want to be empowered with your program so that we can do better with our particular projects? Is there any kind of collaboration that can be established between community gardeners who may want to attend your program or be involved with it or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So two different types. So one is for students who are going into college or transferring colleges. We have programs in this stuff, especially in urban sustainability studies and especially in health and nutrition science. As far as continuing education type programs, we do not have that at Brooklyn College right now. And we've been exploring that. And we're looking to try and start something like that in the garden space this year. But again, the COVID situation, because we're pretty much closed down as a campus right now, we don't even really have hybrid learning. So we have to wait to see about that. But we're trying to gauge community interest on that. So I appreciate that question because I know there's a sort of dissatisfaction with the amount of education in this space, especially geographically, like there's the botanic gardens and so on, right? But I'm glad you brought that up because, and I'm glad to follow up with folks about that is how much interest would there be in a kind of course? What kind of course would people want to take? You know what I mean? What would people be able to pay or they need to be funded, right? What does it look like? So that's a conversation that definitely would be interesting.
Yeah, because, there's a new normal out here. And, as they say, to try to bridge the digital divide, not everybody's been able to cross it. I'm like in the process of trying to get aboard with it. And I get a little complicated with, all the sophistication that is taking place. But, we have to be resilient. We have to be persistent. We have to persevere. And as we come to this new era, I don't want to be, and the people in my community, and I'll gather other people in the Brooklyn community, if not, the city, don't want to be left out. So anything that, you might be able to, to have any influence over, I would appreciate, any feedback.
Sure. And what community are you in, Stephen?
I'm in the 11206 zip code, excuse me. That's like borderline East Williamsburg, Bedford-Stuyvesant,
okay.
Right near, what is it? Broadway, Myrtle, something like that.
Okay, because one other quick thing on that is in this past year, we placed students helping community-based organizations with technical assistance on the internet side of things, on Google Charts and Google Slides and doing databases and that kind of thing. So we work with groups in Canarsie and Eastern Queens on that in this last year. But that's also something that students can be very helpful in that space.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Hi, quick question. Is there like a link or something that we could sign up like our organization if we're looking for interns?
You would email me. Yeah, for sure. And I can share this presentation as well. And just so people can look at that, I'll send that to Alonso I was in touch with, who's my colleague at Brooklyn College, which is awesome. For the intern, I'm the internship coordinator for urban sustainability studies. So I'm the guy. I'm happy to have the email. I'll put my email.
Somebody could drop it in the chat. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
There was also one more question. Tamika asked, are the projects that the students work on targeted?
Not exclusively. Yeah, not at all. Right now, we're heavy in Brooklyn and Queens, mostly Southeast Queens, not as far north, but there's not, we got friends in the Gowanus and up there, or sorry, not Gowanus, Newtown Creek. We got a graduate who's part of the Newtown Creek Alliance. We've had people up in that more northern part. But we're very involved right now with Eastern Queens, around the airport and in around Jamaica Bay and the Rockaways. But it's open geographically. We're open.
Well, thank you for that. I think my question was more around like what the interns are doing exactly. Like, are they project based? Like, there's a specific thing they're working on the entire time that they're working with the gardens, or are they like open to assisting with?
It could vary. It could definitely vary. Some go from, they multitask. They go from project to project. It's just, we always, yeah, so it can totally vary. We always try to make sure that we're placing a student with the right skill set relative to the job, just so it's satisfaction on both sides. And so usually internships tend to be more hands-on or are more not, right? More office type stuff. But it can be open and it doesn't have to be for one project.
And so are the interns supervised by the college staff, or would they be supervised by the garden reps?
So in the summer, they're supervised by the client, whoever they're interning with. During the semester, they're also supervised by a faculty member.
Okay, and sorry, this onslaught question. Are during the semester specifically, but I guess throughout the entire program, is there a supplementary the word the program for the curriculum, I'm forgetting the word for it. I just graduated and I'm forgetting the word. The outline for the course, is there a specific, like, are they?
Oh, like the syllabus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No problem. So for internships, the workload is constructed, the project is constructed with the client. So yeah. Like I have a class right now, and we have a syllabus and students are working on different group projects with clients. But for internships, the workload, the tasks is constructed with the client. So you can totally play a role in determining what that looks like.
Okay, that's cool.
I have a question. What time of the day, or do they work on weekends, or is there any specific amount of hours per week?
The time of when they would work is totally variable. It depends on y'all and the intern. In terms of the amount of hours per week in the summer, I mean, again, it usually, what's the total? I mean, it can vary a lot. But I would say minimum, it could go from, well, it really could vary, it really can vary. For the summer internships, some internships could be close to 35 hours. And as minimal as minimal, because the amount of money involved can vary as well. So they're very flexible. During the semester, it's maxed out at about 3 hours per week, during the semester. But in the summer, it's very flexible. And they can do weekends, it could be night. I mean, some students work, it's a night gig, it totally varies.
Excellent.
Yeah, I have a question regarding collaboration with city agencies per se. As you know, there's a Department of Aging, and I know, especially in my community, that a lot of seniors are very active and getting involved with gardening. And I just wanted to know, like, is there like a prerequisite for someone to either enroll in your program or to observe your program that is available for the public?
You mean the program to get an intern?
Well, let's say for instance, I'm a college graduate, but I graduated like maybe 20 or 30 years ago. And I still want to, get more in tune, like to reinvent myself per se, so that I can be aware of this sustainability that's taking place now. And I wanted to, be more involved with your program. What would be the prerequisite for it? And if, like I said,
yeah, so if you wanted to take courses in it, then basically you would talk to the program director, because some courses have prerequisites and some don't. But we have students who return to college for sure. That is not uncommon at Brooklyn College and at CUNY. And they just go back through your transcript, see what you've done, see what you're still comfortable with in terms of, what some of the stuff you're not going to remember, right? So if you are taking a course, just to make sure that you're up to speed, or maybe you need to take something else first. But yeah, the director of the program would help advise you about what courses would make sense given your interest and given your previous experience.
And that could be matric or non-matric, or
Correct.
has to be
correct.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, thank you.
So there's one final question. Just note on the time.
The last one, because we have to move on. But yeah, what is the question, Tamika?
It's gonna be one for me.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a question in the chat that asked if student interns get stipends. I'm assuming this is from the college. Yeah, stipends from the college.
Sorry, I sent my email just to Toby. I'm going to resend it. So the question is, do they get there's stipends from the college that are available, and then there's stipends from different funds that the college have by private donors.
Okay. I don't know if Demetrius's question was extended, but
I'll do it now. One of the things that I was trying to do was, as all of you know, I am in North Carolina. And one of the things is I've been trying to get some of the high school students to get involved with community gardening. And they're very excited about it. I also wanted to see if there was a connection that we could make with Brooklyn Queens Land Trust. And so, I don't know, Irene or Sawdayah can kind of look and see, can you go out of state with, your program, or we can be a sister program, and kind of, we do have funds. We have funds that are allocated for community gardening, but no one is using them. So just throwing the question out there.
All right.
Well, more towards. Sorry, Irene.
I think we can talk about that. It's sort of getting late in the program, but I can call you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to talk about that. I mean, I would like to talk about that.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
And everybody's doing a great job.
Thanks to you.
Yeah.
In that case, I think it's time to move on. Curtis, will you want to introduce Brittany for a presentation? I know she has to leave early too.
Sure. Thanks, Alonso. I don't have a presentation to share. I didn't prepare slides or anything, but I was invited to speak for about 5 minutes about who I am, my background, and what I could potentially offer to your gardens. I am a Kew Gardens member, and I started off as a beekeeper there. But since then, I've gone on to receive graduate education in forestry, and I'm a forester. I'm also a certified arborist. So I have expertise in tree care and tree biology. And I was chatting with another BQLT board member about what I could potentially do for BQLT Gardens. She shared with me the grant that you had all applied to last year, twice, I think, and did not receive, which is really a shame because it was a cool program. And after looking through that and through the tree inventory that you commissioned some time ago, I had a couple ideas that I could share with you now. And I do have to take off fairly soon, but I'll share my email in the chat. You can follow up with me directly. Very excited to be working with you all. So my first idea is to offer pruning workshops, maybe just a couple this year, since we're running out of time for tree pruning. Tree pruning is best done in late winter and early spring, before the buds like really start to swell and before leaves start to come out. So actually right now would be the perfect time to do it. So we don't have too much time if we wanted to do tree pruning workshops, but probably we could squeeze 1 or 2 in the next month. And after looking through the tree inventory, I noticed that there are a couple of gardens that have especially high priority needs for their trees. So, that's something that I could do this year, and then we could plan on a greater suite of tree workshops and tree pruning workshops for the coming year, 2022. That's idea number 1. Idea number 2, I could come by gardens and offer tree consultation services, which would be somewhat different than the tree pruning. That would be like looking at the trees, suggesting spots for new trees, suggesting, whatever you would need, like plant a tree here, don't plant a tree here, take that tree out, that sort of thing. I'm not sure if that's valuable, since you do have a pretty thorough tree inventory for all the gardens, but that's idea number 2. And then finally, in the grant proposal that this board member shared with me, there was mention of a tree committee, which is something that I could revisit with you all. Before I was an arborist and a forester, I was a publicist, and I have quite a lot of experience in communications, social media, and public relations, which is the basis of this tree committee. I could work with a handful of garden members to form this tree committee, or BQLT members, and form this tree committee, and then start applying for Arbor Day grants, which would enable us to get trees for free and give them out to gardens who might want them. So that's idea number 3. And I'm open for discussion, would love to talk to you all, want to make sure that I'm actually providing value to the garden members and doing what you all want in your spaces.
Thanks, Brittany.
Yeah.
Can you put your email in the chat?
Absolutely.
To reach you?
Any thoughts from anybody before she has to go?
Yeah, I think a tree committee would be great, because they could decide what workshops are most valuable to the gardeners, and different topics.
I had a quick question. Like recently, when we were looking at some of our trees and having an arborist go come look at all of our, we had one come to Hollenbach. I think that was coordinated by BQLT. So I don't know, is like, are we encouraging, Brittany, are you encouraging us to sort of reach out to, like, each garden reach out to you directly, or is this something we would coordinate through BQLT?
Yeah, that's a great question. It probably should be more centrally coordinated. I want to make myself available, obviously, but not in a chaotic kind of fashion, and I want to do something that is strategic for the gardens, while also making sure, garden needs are met in a way that they want.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Brittany, for being here. Since she has to go, we're gonna not take any more questions. We're gonna move on. We are supposed to finish at 11:30. And next would be, we typically have a presentation from a gardener about the garden. And today we have Kwame, and he has the presentation for this week. So Kwame, would you like to share your screen and tell us about you?
Oh, well, okay.
So my name is Kwame Ajapone. I've been a member of Central Bainbridge Community Garden since about, I think it's going on my 4th season now. I am a recent addition to the board for BQLT, and this is Central Bainbridge Community Garden. On the screen now is some of our blooms from last season. And just a little bit of history about Central Bainbridge. These photos are Central Bainbridge in the 1940s. Central Bainbridge once was 2 buildings that got demolished. 8 women volunteers from the Block Association began it in 1978. So this year will be our 43rd season. We also do workshops with the garden next to us, PS 40. And currently now we have about 20 plots. So these are some images of last season. There is a video. So anyway, the video doesn't play, but the video is just a walkthrough through the garden. It's about 10 seconds. I'm gonna go to the next slide. So special projects. This year we took on a bunch of new things, especially cleanup, since COVID gave us a bunch of free time. So one of the items we did first was make our second entrance. We put some extra stones laying around the garden because we didn't have the entrance. We also worked on this tree stump removal. We had about 3 tree stumps we wanted to remove this summer. We got 2 out. This one took the most work. It really took about all summer. We had some support from the local firefighters, and one of our community members is a firefighter, so she helped bring those in, Giselle. Also, our members did also try to tackle the tree stump also. We also tried composting this year. We did have some successes and some issues. So the first image is our hot compost pile. I would definitely suggest that you.
Uh-oh, we lost something. Oh.
Hopefully he will be able to reconnect soon.
Yeah.
Do you want me to text him? It still says he's connected in the chat, but
Yeah, it says, that's what it says. Usually when you lose one of the icons, I don't see the microphone icon. That means there's some kind of connectivity problem. So it may not be out, but yeah, it's.
Yeah, text him, Domika.
We're getting to the good part.
Yeah, no. He's also on mute somehow.
Yeah, well, his microphone is not even active. His microphone is not talking to the network, I guess. I don't see. No.
Hello.
Yep, he's back. Awesome.
Can you guys? Sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you for troubleshooting that.
Okay. So we had entrance upgrade, stump removal, and composting. This year, we would like to build an enclosed compost system, also a sit-in movie theater. Next, we have some images of our harvest. So we had peaches, butternut squash, peas, radishes, tomatoes, some huge pumpkins, a lot of variety of greens, huge zucchini, melons. We do have a bunch of fruit trees. So we had a bunch of figs, plums, and also cauliflower. So these are some images of the team really quickly. Some people working in the garden, some bugs in the garden as well. It's Iris. So the Tai Chi in the garden. So some of the events that we had over the summer was a Juneteenth event, and this was like the turnout. Yes, we are accepting new members. This is the last slide. So this year, we will be kind of changing how our membership is focused, more to focus one on square foot gardening for higher yields, but also community supported agriculture. So that's about.
This is wonderful.
Yeah.
I haven't been to that garden, and now I know that I really have to go check it out. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Kwame?
Who's the photographer?
Nice job.
Thank you, appreciate it. So the pictures are from a couple of our different members.
I wanted to ask, what is your membership structure like? I know some gardens have do plots, some gardens do communal farming, some gardens have a paid structure that's like per year, per month. What's your guys' membership structure?
So currently we have a by plot membership, which is $35 for the season. But we are looking to revamp that to get higher yields. We did experience like the older or the people that have been around longer didn't necessarily come out a lot during COVID. So, but we did have a lot of people that would like to come volunteer and give hands. So trying to switch up how people can be a part and just support and not necessarily own a plot, but the membership will kind of work in like a CSA form where we work together to tend to the entire garden, and we would have harvest times where everybody can get a box, if you will.
That is so awesome. I think it's really great to have multiple ways that community members can get involved beyond like being a paid member. Thank you.
I have a question. How do you as a group make decisions, or like if you're going to start a new initiative or all those projects that you were sharing? How do you decide as a group to make like where to put your resources? And is it always democratic? Or like I know that sometimes garden
it's definitely democratic. Iris is the senior gardener rep at Central Bainbridge. So I guess you would say like she's the president of the garden, but it is democratic. If anybody does have an idea, we do discuss it as members and see how to go forward working collaboratively.
Excellent. Any other questions? Anyone?
I think it's wonderful.
Kwame, thank you very, very much for sharing. It was really beautiful to see the garden, and yeah, as I said, I really want to go check it out now.
Yes, come by. It is on Patchen and Bainbridge. It's 277 Bainbridge Street.
Excellent. Thank you. And we can move on to the last item of the agenda, which that's going to be me. I was asked to put together just a kind of a quick sketch of an idea for talking about the orientation meetings that garden will give to their members. So the idea is that every garden has a few orientation meetings to bring in new members and get them up to speed with information about the philosophy of the garden, the philosophy of BQLT. And so I've drafted a few ideas that are up to discussion, not only today, but in the future, so we can get something more concrete later on. And so first, I would like to say or share what I think a community garden is. And this is not a definition. It's more like an opinion of what's the spirit of a garden. And for me, and that's one of the things that brought me to Kew Gardens and also to BQLT eventually, is that first of all, and it's the obvious, but it is a play to know your neighbors. Like in cities, in Western societies, especially in the US, you don't always know your neighbors. And you have such diversity of people around you. And the community garden is the best place, I think, or one of the best places for you to know who is around and be able to interact with them in a way in which titles or professions or other social roadblocks don't matter. You walk in, you may be the greatest professor or PhD ever, or you may be just somebody who is working around the block. And it doesn't matter. Who you are is what matters, not what you do, not what, anyway, yeah. It's a very egalitarian way of getting to know people in your community. It's a great place to share ideas, opinions, and knowledge. It's incredible how much I have learned in Kew Gardens, for instance. I'm a biologist. I teach biology. My master's brought me into soil science, and I had a very academic knowledge of what happens in soil. But I've learned so much when I went to Kew Gardens, and I want everybody to be able to have that, is be able to learn from different perspectives. And that's what I value the most about my experience there. I had the academic perspective, which is great, but then I learned from people who grow things and have no academic inclinations, but they know so much. And that is great about community gardens. You can see so many different perspectives. Another part of the obvious, nurturing plants. And that is something that is going to impact health of the environment and of people physically and mentally. And doing that in a community garden is just a great way of doing it. Grow plants in a very, very environmentally friendly way. That's a great way to get great nutrition. And then again, this is not emphasized, I think, often enough, but this is mentally and psychologically very, very healthy as well. Composting, not all gardens do it, but some do. And it doesn't have to happen, but if it happens, it's great. It is a great way of contributing to a whole bunch of environmental problems. A simple garden or single garden doesn't do too much for the environment, but if we replicate that many, many times, we begin making an impact. At Kew Gardens, we have a very healthy composting program, I think, an effort. Natalia Sucre is just amazing at leading it. And we have diverted so many food scraps from landfills in the last few years. So many. It's incredible how much food. It's tons of them. I forget the exact figure, but it's tons and tons of food that have not gone to the landfills to rot. When food goes to the landfills and rots, they produce really harmful greenhouse gases. When you compost them, they're decomposed, but the product of that is not greenhouse gases. It's going to be mainly CO2, which, sorry, CO2 it's a greenhouse gas, but it's not as bad as the methane that is produced in landfills. And then again, it's still a product of respiration, which is going to happen anyway. So it's not the harmful CO2, the harmful amounts or levels of CO2 that burning coal can be. It's normal respiration product, CO2 and water. and to an extent oxygen if you have photosynthetic algae, but that's another issue. So it's just great to get all these what shouldn't be, but in sometimes it is waste, and bring it back into the food cycle, because then that is great fertilizer for growing more food. So it's very sustainable, and it is great for the actual activities of the garden beyond diverting things from going to landfills. It is great to work with in the garden as fertilizers. Depending on the arrangement of the garden can be a sanctuary for both native plants and insects. And when I'm thinking about insects, I'm mainly thinking about bees. Bees are not all the ones that we use for getting honey. They're great, I love them, and they're important. And there are many beekeepers that are taking care of those, but there are so many other species of bees that are solitary, that just live in little burrows on the ground or on logs and stuff like that. And they don't have too many places to go because of all the activities that we humans have done lately in the environment. And so they are so grateful when they can find a little space in the garden. And not all gardens are conducive to this. But for instance, if you have little patches of land that is not being cultivated, or you have a place where you have a log that is on the ground, I'm an advocate for leaving them there, because there are some insects that will be able to find a home there, and they're native insects that don't have too much space to be able to survive, and gardens are great for these as well. Of course, community building, I mean, beyond knowing your neighbor, just knowing, it's a way where everybody, regardless of background, come together. And you can find diversity in cultures, diversity in ethnicities, diversity of races, diversity of ways of thinking. And I think that that's one of the main things that a garden can do. And it's bring people together and allowing that inclusion to nurture the community. Like it's kind of a community bonding aspect. And so that's what brings us to the idea that gardens should have community like orientations for their members. And the first thing about orientations is that on one hand, they have to be flexible. All gardens are different. We can give some guidelines about aspects that we should have in place for the orientations, but of course they cannot be the same. I've been to several of the gardens from BQLT, and they're so different. There's no way to have like a single standard or a single guideline that will apply to all gardens. So it has to be flexible. Whatever we ask gardeners to include in the orientations has to be able to change. They should be periodic, and then again, it'll depend on the necessities of each garden. My personal opinion would be that they should be at least twice a year. Depending on what the garden needs, could be more often. And then again, that depends on how activities, how many people come in. At Kew Gardens, we have a big turnover. So I think that in a place like Kew Gardens, it could be like, I don't know, every 3 months or 4 months or something like that. So 3 times or 4 times a year, and we would be able to work with that. They should definitely be inviting. They shouldn't be just a boring information session, but a way in which the person who is new to the garden feels welcome and incorporated into the community. I think I know that has been really important for me, to be able to come to Kew Gardens and feel like I'm part of something, and be able to. I'm an introvert overall, and when I'm at Kew Gardens, I kind of overcome that very easily because of how welcoming people are, and I think that's an experience that everybody should be able to have. Of course, the orientation should include some information about BQLT. I have to say that when I began at Kew Gardens, I didn't know what BQLT was, and the work that this organization does is so important for the gardens. In some cases, it is critical for the survival of the garden, that I think it is important that everybody knows. One, just so they can know, and 2, so they can understand what the BQLT does. Because I've also noticed that there may be misconceptions about what the organization does, and we have a limited capability of some things that we can do. So So just so people know what is our role and what is our capability, which is of course very budget and human power dependent. So we have some limits, but we also do so much that people don't know about. So that is important for the gardeners to know. This orientation should do emphasis in community, make sure that people know that the community gardens are mainly about the community. At least the BQLT gardens, I know that there are many different ideas of what you can do in a garden. Some people go for their personal plot and that's it. But we should emphasize that, yeah, even if you have a personal plot, talk to your neighbors, collaborate with them, help each other, come together. And that definitely should include that people should know about the principles of equity and inclusion that we have at BQLT. And we can provide some guidance with that. We want to be able to have everybody being welcome. It's a policy of BQLT that everybody should be welcome. And no, things like national origin, faith, skin color, political views shouldn't matter. You're part of the community. And you should be able to share with other people in the community, even if you have differences in any of those aspects or differences of opinion. It should be also a forum. So respect for everyone and respect for ideas and basic respect for human beings should be also part of that. And there should be some mention of that in the orientations. I don't know exactly how. I'm very open to a discussion with gardeners and board members to know what is it that we want to include there, what do we want the gardens to tell people about it, and how all these ideas fit within the philosophy of every particular garden. That's what I think orientation should be. And then again, something flexible that can fit each particular needs for every garden. Right now, that's all I have, and I'm open to ideas, questions, discussion.
Alonso.
Yeah, thank you, Alonso.
I just wanted to say, Alonso, that was an amazing, amazing presentation. I think that it was general enough and also flexible enough to be tailored towards, each garden's community and their needs. I thought that was a really wonderful layout. I just wanted to jump in quickly. I know we are hitting up against the clock, but before we close out, I did want to just mention, especially to Alonso's point around equity, diversity, and trying to make or create an inclusive environment in our gardens. I think we can also just be very honest about how difficult that can be. And that we often don't, depending on where we enter the work of building relationships with differing community members, that might not be a skill set that we have, right? And so to that end, we've all been having conversations around the changing nature of our communities, which obviously means that the gardens are changing. And so just as the board and staff did some equity training with Liz, who spoke at our Celebration of Gardens in November, we have received a grant to continue that work from Scenic with the rest of the garden group. So, we're in talks of scheduling some meetings in May, and I believe in June. We'll have 3 sessions with her as a whole organization. And right now, we're still shaping what that needs to look like. So if you have any specific requests or thoughts, please definitely put that in the chat, and I will communicate that with Liz. But we are contracted to have some equity sessions. And I also just want to uplift that, there's like the work of maintaining community, and we also need to make space for how difficult it is. We need to make space for, especially how fast these changes happen. We need to make space for some of our community members who really didn't get a chance to maybe mourn the changing nature of the community. And when we think about things like gentrification, it's not like a desert being made. It's not a natural occurrence. It's something that's very intentional. And I think we need to make space for the complex and difficult emotions around the changing nature of the community and its impact on gardens and gardeners. We are people, right? And so, we can't move forward together unless we acknowledge what that what that was and why it happened, and the impact that that's had on our community members. So I'm super looking forward to that. Stay tuned. Again, let us know if you have anything in particular in terms of just things you're looking forward to seeing out of that training. And I know that the operations committee will be in touch to figure out best dates, because we really want to have as many gardeners as possible at that. And then one other thing that I wanted to share, one of my good friends, Candace Thompson, who also presented at the Celebration of Gardens, is looking for South Asian gardeners who have been growing indigenous crops in their spaces. Let me just pull up her email. She's looking for panelists to serve on a discussion that she's facilitating on March 24th. And I will also email this to the BQLT Garden Reps group so you can share it with any folks that you know who are Central or South Asian gardeners. The panel discussion is tentatively titled Migratory Resilience, Global Flavors in a Changing Climate. And right now she's looking for someone who can talk about their work with seeds, their work with plants, lesser known species, and why they do that work. So if you know any Central or South Asian gardeners in your gardens or within the network or outside of the network that might be interested in that and available March 24th, and I believe it's going to be from 7 to 8:30, that would be wonderful. And again, I'll share that info on the Garden Reps group. That's all for me. Thank you so much. And operations, this was a joy of a meeting, so resource heavy, so many wonderful gardeners, like just amazing.
Thank you, Sawdayah. Thank you for facilitating all this, by the way, because you're the fearless leader, and I love that you can make this, help us make this happen.
On the note of announcements, we have our annual meeting coming up at the Reps on April 10th. So there won't be an operations meeting next month, and that will replace the meeting. I believe it's Easter weekend, the first week of April. So that's why we're moving to the second week. And a save the date about that will go out very soon on Monday specifically. So look out for that email. And more details to come soon. As you know, we vote on new board members. We have 6 board members to vote in. So it's very important that everybody attends and puts a vote in. We also vote on nominations committee members, the budget, and other items. So look out for that email. And Gardens with Water Systems, look out for an email regarding the turn-ons in the upcoming weeks. It'll most likely start happening the last week of March.
Thank you, Dumika.
And Dumika, what about fixing those that don't work?
I have to follow up with you guys on that, actually. We're expecting the repairs to happen before the season starts. I'm not exactly sure if that means within the next week or if it means the next 2 weeks. We're still in the midst of scheduling the repairs. It's been very delayed because of DEP just being, a city agency that is behind on a lot of stuff due to the pandemic. So we submitted an application for approval since the systems are metered. So any changes to the meter or the backflow device that affects public health has to be approved by DP. And we got note that they received our application and are processing it. And so we're waiting on the approval, and the meters are already purchased, and we're just waiting for that to start scheduling. So as soon as that happens, I'll let those gardens know.
Thank you.
Tamika?
Hi.
Yes. What about the wood for the beds? You have any idea when that's going to be delivered, or is that still in the works?
So Irene and I have been working on that. I guess it's a good, it's kind of a discussion. We're low on time, but we have a list of people that we're working on getting lumber for. It's still in the works. As soon as that happens and is scheduled, we'll also let you guys know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mika. Irene and Curtis, any last things to mention before we end the meeting?
Oh, sorry, I'm not Irene or Curtis, but we're looking for new garden presentations next month, or not next month, but for May.
RTV probably could do it.
Lincoln Barkley can do one for me.
Oh, wow. So we got two.
Well, will RTV be for April, Irene?
May. Because Domika just announced that we're not having a operations meeting in April. We have an annual meeting.
Right. Okay, great.
And we also had Alexis Harrison from Central Brooklyn Food Hub. So
we have 3 presentations then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exciting.
All right, well, thanks everybody for attending.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'll see you in the annual meeting, and be safe.
Thank you. Great.
Operations. Wonderful to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Sawdayah. Take care, everyone.
You too.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.